Originally, I just had a very little background on trade regulation, that is the intellectual property. So I wanted to expand that, and I wanted to have a contribution to my country.
I came into the mile as a professional. I'd realized in my career that simply reading the Uruguay round agreements was probably going to cause me some great difficulty and a mistake that I would later regret. So that was my reason for coming to the mile program.
The only reason I'm able to teach the classes I teach now, and I've been able to engage and work on projects that I have in the last several years since completing mile, is a direct result of the program.
I wanted to make a transition in terms of career paths. So I was a foreign service officer dealing with political affairs, and I really had love and passion for trade, and so I decided to do this program to help me make that switch.
That's how I ended up being a WIPO, thanks to this program as well.
If you want to have really good people, you need to train them. And therefore, the WTI is an excellent center to train young people who afterwards know something about trade when they enter into the working life.
The program is quite challenging, but it was also very interesting, and I really enjoyed the multicultural environment here.
So just the kaleidoscope of nationalities and individuals and cultures that were in one room, and friendships that I have still today, 6 years later.
My time as a Mayo student was definitely the best year of my life. I met so many nice people. I got to learn really useful stuff, which I'm using in a daily basis.
The role of the WTI over the decade as well, and it's spectacular. I mean, it's truly amazing what all of you have done.
Our professors are coming from top places around the world, and our students are going into top institutions around the world.
The recruitment of the World Trade Organization has changed. We are now given that our membership is more and more with developing countries. We are recruiting proportionally more and more people coming from developing countries. So a contribution like yours to their training, to the technical assistance, sort of aid for trade in general, is, I believe, absolutely essential.
Right after the completion of the mile, I went to Geneva to work as a WTO mission base in 10 for 10 months, which is where I am now.
The mile program has furthered my career in more ways than just having graduated as a mile student. The training I received through the different lectures, through the different assessments, through the way you have to communicate your work, write your work, present your work, the analytical skills that are demanded by all the faculty that are very highly recognized in their own specialized fields, have equipped me with skills that I cannot even begin to explain.
It was for me like a trampoline I had already worked in trade matters, but it was a very important step for the position that I got in the Commission.
Everything I have done professionally after finishing mile was linked to the education I received.
The proof that it worked very well. We have started 10 years ago. Now 10 years later, when we negotiate, we Swiss negotiate at the negotiating table. We sometimes find ourselves confronted with students who went to the WTI, and I can tell you, these guys are very hard negotiators.
People applying to the mile should first have a vision, have an open mind, because trade and trade liberalizations would require that you have an open attitude towards the world.
I think they should have a strong background in economics or law. And on a more personal note, I think they need to be a very motivated person. They need to have a vision for themselves.
Mile is a very intensive program, it's very focused. So you need to have those kind of interests in learning about the law and economics of international trade regulation. That's very important. It's a very international program, so you need to be able to have an international mindset also. And then you need to know where you're going, what you want out of the Mile program.
The Mile has been absolutely instrumental for every step that I've taken afterwards, which were, for example, I did a traineeship with the DG Trade and the European Commission, went to the WTO Agriculture Division, and then worked for the German Marshall Fund of the United States.
Absolutely, I enjoyed the MY program so much, to the point where I started thinking, you know, maybe I came to the MY program to find a new family, or true family or friendship.
I think I would like also to use the opportunity to say a big thank you to Professor Kotiev for just creating this wonderful program.